What would you pick between having loyal friends or being betrayed and becoming the most powerful being on the planet? Hey guys, my name is Leia and welcome to Anime Recap Pro. Our protagonist in today's recap, Arifureta from Commonplace to World's Strongest, finds himself in somewhat of a similar situation. Want to find out more? Stay tuned! But before we get started, be sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. And without any other delays, let's get started. Hajime Nagumo, a 17-year-old otaku, has had his daily life routine interrupted when he and his classmates are called to a fantasy world and tasked with preserving humanity. Hajime is made fun of for only learning a subpar transmutation skill with no real offensive power, while his classmates are given impressive abilities useful in battle. Hajime is betrayed by one of his classmates while on an expedition to the Great Orcus Labyrinth, sending him hurling into the bottom of an abyss. In the Orcus Labyrinth depths, he encounters monsters, unlike anything he has ever seen. A bear monster severs his arm and eats it. Hajime escapes by transmuting his way far beneath the surface of the ground. Fortunately, he discovers a divinity stone that creates a pool of ambrosia healing fluid that replenishes itself constantly, saving him from having his arm amputated. Hajime lacks any warrior skills, and the only real ability he possesses, which is demonstrated in flashbacks, is the ability to transform matter. A behemoth who had been thrown into the dungeon depths by one of his students after trying to save Kaori greeted his class as they entered it. Due to extreme hunger, Hajime collapses into the abyss and starts using traps for hunting the incredibly powerful wolves. After consuming one, the monster's cells alter his DNA, and the only thing that can save him is Ambrosia's ongoing healing. His body evolves, becoming noticeably stronger due to the constant tearing apart of his muscles, brought on by the symbiosis of his and the monster's DNA and the mending of the ambrosia. After his transformation, he continues to hunt monsters, devouring them to advance in levels and acquire their magical and physical skills. He even develops powerful weapons through trial and error using his transmutation talent, such as Donner, his first handgun. He kills the bear creature that devoured his limb and consumes it before searching away deeper into the abyss. When the king learns of Hajime's passing, he forbids any mention of the tragedy and refuses to acknowledge a hero's passing. Shizuku, Kaori's friend, recalls that the Pope summoned their high school class and teacher to his realm to serve as heroes in battle against demons and monsters. Hiyama is acting strangely, but she doesn't catch him reassuring himself that no one saw him hit Hajime. In the end, Hajime defeats the Guardians, reaches a huge stone door, and takes the keys from their bodies. Kaori is adamant she won't give up looking for Hajime. Beyond the doors, Hajime finds a young girl imprisoned in a crystal, but he leaves her behind because he thinks she is a monster being held captive for some reason. She admits that she has been a vampire princess for all time, but she says that an uncle betrayed her because he wanted her status but was unable to kill her, so he imprisoned her instead. Hajime releases her because he regrets betraying her. After deciding to change her name, she begs Hajime for a new one. He gives her the name Yue after the moon because her golden hair reminds him of moonlight. A huge scorpion monster attacks Yue and Hajime. As they kill the scorpion, Yue reclaims her magic by ingesting Hajime's blood. As she consumes the flesh, Hajime informs Yue that the last vampire was wiped out 300 years ago. According to Yue, the Mavericks who created the labyrinths were strong magic users who tried and failed to defeat God. As a result, they each built a labyrinth as a haven from God's retaliation and might still be able to be alive on the lowest floors. Hajime transforms the scorpion shell into Schlagen, a rifle. As Yue no longer has a place to call home, Hajime asks her to accompany him to Japan after explaining how he was betrayed and how he no longer cares about his classmates or even getting back to them. The other labyrinth is decided to be entered by Hajime's classmates. Hajime and Yue enter a floor where a plant-like monster has infected and is controlling all of the monsters physically. Yue is infected, but Hajime is immune to the infection thanks to one of the monsters he's already eaten, so he can kill the monster. Later, Yue makes Hajime drink his blood and seduces him while naked. They arrive on the lowest floor a few days later and get ready to take on the final boss monster. The final boss, a huge Hydra-like monster with 6 heads, each of which is able to use a different kind of magic and one of which can heal the others, is faced by Hajime and Yue. Hajime kisses Yue to jolt her out of the fear-induced hypnosis of Second Head, and prevent her from being eaten. The healing speed is one of the 3 heads that Hajime is able to kill with Schlagen, and Yue uses lightning to take out the other 3. Before they can unwind, an unexpected 7th head appears. While defending Yue, Hajime suffers injuries, and Schlagen is destroyed. Yue drags Hajime to safety after finding him unconscious and attempts to use his pistol to shoot Hajime, but is wounded. Even while unconscious, Hajime hears Yue sobbing and quickens himself to avoid every attack. He throws grenades all over the room, which causes the roof to fall on the creature's head, and allows Yue to kill it with lightning. Hajime faints from exhaustion as the last door opens. The Pope is arguing with Aiko Hatayama, Hajime's teacher, who is also called a hero, about whether or not they should enter the labyrinth once more. As long as Aiko continues to use her fertility magic to support the kingdom's struggling agriculture, the Pope agrees only send the students who volunteer. Hajime wakes up in bed with Yue after losing his right eye and realizes they are in the Maverick's home. In front of Magical Circle, they find Maverick's skeleton. A spell that activates a recording left behind by the Maverick compels Hajime to explore his memories. After Hajime destroys the Maverick's maze and the Maverick reveals himself to be Oscar Orcus, it is decided that he is worthy of learning the truth about the Maverick/God conflict. The behemoth they believe is to blame for Hajime's passing is fought by Hajime's classmates as they make their way through the labyrinth. Oscar imparts his skills and memories to Hajime before disappearing. Hajime discovers that the Mavericks are liberators and reveals that he inherited Oscar's ancient creation magic, allowing him to impart magical properties onto transmuted materials in order to produce artifacts. Hajime seizes Oscar's ring after he has been buried and uses it to unlock a door that leads to the surface. In order to obtain their ancient magics, Hajime decides to conquer every labyrinth. Hajime spends 2 months taking advantage of Oscar's wealth, library, and workshop to learn as much as he can while building weapons and vehicles and arming himself with a high-tech prosthetic limb and a mysterious diamond to replace his eye. He continues to be seduced by Yue, giving her a magical ring and warning her that her plans will ultimately turn against the church and their god, Ihit. Yue commits to sticking by his side no matter what as they teleport to the top. A rabbit girl named Shea Haulia is impatiently waiting there where Hajime and Yue are supposed to show up. Hajime and Yue try to ignore her when they first get there because she's quite annoying. When Hajime finally agrees to listen, she explains that her tribe is in danger from monsters, and she had predicted that Hajime would save them because of her magical ability to see into the future. In return for her leading them to a great tree mentioned in Oscar's library, Hajime agrees. When Hajime gets to the tribe's forest, he uses the unfortunate Shea as bait to kill a number of monsters. The rabbit men request training from Hajime because they are sick of being defenseless. Hajime struggles to get past their inherent timidness, akin to that of a rabbit, so he puts them through a ruthless training regimen of kill monsters or I kill you instead, making them hardy monster killers. Shea leads them to a tree that Hajime thinks is the entrance to a different labyrinth, but when he sees a nearby stone slab with slots for rings similar to the Oscars, he realizes that other mazes must be conquered before this one will open. In order to protect the tree until Hajime returns, the rabbit men decide to keep practicing. Shea joins them on their journey because she has fallen in love with Hajime, and Yue is compelled to do so after Shea manages to win a duel by successfully scratching Yue. Well, that's it for today. Will Hajime finally face a being he cannot defeat? Want to find out? Stay tuned for part 2. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe.